salutations. I've been busy. Doesn't look too bad once you blow all the garbage out of it. If you're new here, welcome. This is a 1969 Dodge Dart, and I've been working on this. I'm using the term working. I've been tinkering with this project now for over a decade, and my goal here within the next month or so is to get this thing in epoxy primer, and I want to get the jambs and the inside of the window openings painted so I can install the glass. If you're familiar with cars from the 60s, the one thing that just about all the cars, especially Mopars from the 60s, have in common is that the panel gaps aren't exactly consistent. And the cars of this era actually use a lot of body shims, and there's a lot of adjustability. Whereas today, the manufacturing process is so precise and duplicatable that you don't need to add a lot of you don't need to do a lot of fidgeting in adjusting. You just put the panel on and bolt it on, and it's good. Well, back in this era, that wasn't necessarily the case. You know, here's a good example of the elongated slots. There's a lot of adjustability in the fasteners. So there's a couple tricks that I've learned over the years to be able to line everything up, take it apart, and put the part back on the car in the same location that you had it when you lined everything up. So one of the things I did here, this is pretty common practice in the hot rodding industry when you're putting together and taking apart your vehicle multiple times during the build process, and that's to use location holes. And so you see here, there's a little 1/8 inch hole, right? And there's another one over here. Now what I did is, when I put this panel on and got it all lined up, I had the hood on and I had the grill and everything on. And once I was happy with the location of the panel, I took an 1/8 inch drill bit and I drilled 2 location holes in this location. And you can see I did the same thing here through the hinge. And then before I take these hinges off, I'll do the same thing into the door from the hinge if I haven't done it already. I think I haven't, but what that will allow me to do is to put everything right back in the same place it was when I was happy with it, so that I don't have to do a lot of fidgeting. And especially, I'll probably end up painting these pieces off the vehicle, and then I'll have to have some help to come out here to put everything back together so I don't chip and scratch the paint. You can see here the location holes in the fender too. So when it comes time to put this fender back on, I'll put it in place, and I got some little 1/8 inch brass pins, and I'll just put that brass pin in there, put another one here, and this part of the fender will be lined up. I can bolt it down and pull the pins out. Bob's your uncle. Everything's good. But the other thing that I need to do before I put the glass in, I'm not going to put the glass in. I'm going to have Safelite come out and put the glass in. I have the windshield and the rear glass. In fact, I got 2 of each, just in case I break one. And I need to get the new gaskets and everything. But before I put the glass in, I need to put the headliner in. And the way the headliner goes in, it goes all the way. You can see the little staples from the factory. They actually stapled it to the window rail. I got the whole thing blown apart. I can't finish the engine compartment just yet until the gaskets get here for the headers. Those should be here tomorrow, sometime between tomorrow and Thursday. Once I get those header gaskets in, then I can reinstall the headers. I need to get the terminal ends so I can build a new battery cable for the starter, and I'm going to run it up underneath here, and that should keep it away from the headers. And if I have to, I suppose I'll get some heat shielding and put some heat shielding on that cable. I spent most of the day yesterday out here prepping this jamb and prepping the parts of this parts of the fender that I, you know, this part of the fender, and this part of the fender. You need to get this I need to did all this with the machine. I need to get down into this nook right here with the sandpaper, and you know, just beat the shit on my fingers. So I hate about sanding is that my hands ache for days afterwards. Here's another thing that if you're gonna blow your car apart, one thing you should do: bag and tag your fasteners. Whenever you can, put the bolts back where they're supposed to go. That way you don't have to tag them and you won't lose them. Fun facts to know and yell. All right, so here's a bodywork tip. Optimally, if you're doing a paint job, you want to start at the base metal. That's not always possible, especially if you're doing like a repair. You don't want to repaint the whole car, you just want to repaint the panel. There's techniques to be able to blend those panels into the existing paint. But in this case, I have old existing paint. I've decided I'm going to get as much of this off as I possibly can. I'm just afraid that the solvents in the new primers are probably going to react negatively to that. I'm not for sure, but I think that's probably lacquer. You just can't come in here and spray this. Basically, anything that's shiny, paint won't stick to. So if you gotta sand the stuff and give that surface some tooth for the new paint to stick to. But in areas like this where you have, you know, in the stamping process, you can see that there's areas where the metal is stretched and bunched up. It's really hard to get inside there to sand that, and that would be a likely place where paint would begin to delaminate. Never fear. What you need to do is get yourself some of these red Scotch-Brite pads, and this will get down into those little nooks and crannies. Like where there's spot welds and stuff. And those are areas where it's really hard to get into. So use one of these, gets into those little nooks and crannies, and provides a little bit of mechanical tooth for the new paint to stick to. In most cases, you don't need to do any more than like, I don't even know what the equivalent to this is, 320. But you get down in that, into those little nooks and crannies, and just knock the shine off of it, and that should be enough to provide some mechanical tooth for the new paint to stick to. Hope that helps. But I think I'm going to get my DA out, and I think I'm going to take most of this off. Hey, great news. I just got word that my header gaskets are going to be here today. That's glorious. And I can get that out of the way and done. So I'm going to get this cleaned up, and I'll go don a freaking face mask because the world's gone freaking nuts. And I'll go down to I'm a little bit pissed at O'Reilly's right now. I'll go down to Napa or AutoZone and see if I can't find some battery terminal ends and build my starter cable. This box shows up. It's my gaskets. That box for this. But before I go and install these, I'm gonna make a new battery cable. So let me clear some space up. I swear I did this yesterday. I cleared this freaking bench off, and now it's all covered in stuff again. All right, let me do that, and I'll start building this thing. So the first thing I'm going to do when I get these is I'm going to grind the little flare off the end of this, and because I'm going to put this on and crimp it, and then I'm going to put a piece of shrink wrap around this and shrink it down. And I don't want that flare to be a place where it can abrade through and short out. I'm going to change the camera angle because if I slam this, you're gonna get your bell rung. So let me move you over here. Yahtzee. I gotta find some shrink tube. Shrink that down. If you wanna get one of these, I'll put a link in the description. I think they're around $20. Terminal end crimper. Okay, got 10 gauge, 4 gauge. Melt these together. You are? What are you doing?
Good. I'm good.
Now, what are you doing?
Helping you.
Helping me?
Yeah.
Is that what you call it?
You're using some of our bowls to put stuff in?
Oh, I've had those bowls out here for a long time, honey.
Are you going to fix that?
No, I'm working on this.
Why are you shooting the camera at me?
Well, I don't know. Are you shy?
Yeah.
Liar. Because I'm filming you.
No.
Oh, let me open that up just a little bit. So it's no secret that if you put headers on an engine, it's going to breathe easier. At least most of the time, it's going to breathe easier than a factory cast iron exhaust manifold. The thing that sucks about most header applications is that they never seem to seal. And the gaskets are constantly burning out. And if you you're just buying the graphite impregnated paper gaskets, you're going to be on a forever mission of replacing those gaskets. They're going to burn out. Now, on the big block that's in the dually, I started using copper gaskets, and I've had really good luck with copper gaskets, cutting off the collector, the 3-flange collector, and putting a ball and socket collector on there. Has eliminated 99.5% of the issues that I've had with header leaks. This, I didn't find too many copper gaskets online for a smaller block 318, but I did find these Cometic gaskets, and they're a multi-layer metal gasket, and they were expensive. They were damn near $50. We'll give these a try and see how well these work. Time will tell. But if you have a small block Mopar and you're sick of replacing those graphite impregnated paper gaskets, and you're sick and tired of using cast iron manifold gaskets, I'll put a link in the description and you can try these out too. Alright, well, it's only been like a minute for you, but it's been a couple of hours for me trying to get this thing back together. This is kind of a real pain in the ass to do without a lift and some help, but I got my engine back down on the K-member where it belongs. K-member sucked up, and I even took out my little 3/16 aluminum shims, which used to be down there. I might tomorrow, let's see how I feel, but I've got about a 1/4 inch clearance there. I can make that dent a little bit bigger, and I've got plenty of clearance around my steering shaft now. Got plenty of clearance now. Got my steering components in. It's not tightened down yet, but everything clears. And I'm going to get a heat shield for my starter, but there's plenty of room around the starter. There's my battery cable. Oh yeah. You know, our cable clamp, and put it right there on that bolt, and put some shielding around that. Should be good. This header took no time at all, maybe 15 minutes. And I still had to jockey the engine around to get it to go in, but yeah. Note to self, don't put headers on a Mopar unless you're building a race car. Well, I think I'm done for the day. And also, looking there, it looks like I got plenty of room for that HEI distributor, so I might go ahead and work on that, but not today. I'm gonna go inside and get something to eat. So there's your latest update on the Dodge Dart. Things are coming along, and a week or two I should be spraying some primer. Fingers crossed. So if you like this series, smash that like button, share it with your vast social media network. If you haven't done so yet, please consider subscribing to this channel, and if you do, click the little bell icon. That way YouTube will let you know the next time I upload a video. If you'd like to support this channel financially, you can either go through the Amazon affiliate links in the description and buy stuff that you see there, or maybe if you don't see anything you like in the description, go through one of those links to get whatever it is you do want. If you want to throw me a couple of bucks, there's a PayPal link in the description, and there's also a Patreon link if you want to support this channel on a monthly basis. Thanks in advance if you could do that, and if you can't, that means we're probably related. So until next time, you have fun, stay safe, shoot straight, keep it powder dry. Have a splendid day. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.